Lubbock High is having one of its most productive seasons offensively under head coach Mike Speck. And for more on their Westerners spread, let's go to George Watson for this week's film session.
Welcome back to The Fever, everybody, for this week's film session. And today we're at Lubbock High. We're going to take a little bit of a look at the Westerner spread, but in a little bit of a different way. And joining us this week is head coach Mike Speck. Coach, appreciate you joining us this week.
You bet, George.
The Westerners pick up a big win last week over San Angelo Central. Had to rally to do it and did it in a bit of a different way, Coach. You guys run the spread, but you ran the ball very well, something you guys have kind of struggled with at times this year.
Yeah, I think the defense that they presented us with kind of offered it up to us. They really went to something new, and I think it was probably just put in for us because of the success we were having throwing the ball. So it just lended itself to running the ball.
Not only that, but you guys, fell back early, and got back in with the run. Had to rally for this one. Talk about the game a little bit. Is a little bit of a? I'm sure you guys are frustrated to have to fall behind, but kind of like you told me earlier this week, just business-like coming out of halftime and able to run the ball and get back in the game.
Yeah, and it was. I think we went out just a little bit flat. We didn't know what to expect, and of course the defense that they gave us was new. It wasn't what we've been practicing against all week. We made a couple mistakes with 2 interceptions. But the kids had the confidence. They came into the ball game believing they could win, and the game plan was, well planned. It was in place. They knew what they wanted to do, whether it be run the ball or pass the ball. We just didn't execute very well offensively, and defensively we just tackled really poorly.
Well, what you've queued up here for us today, in a little bit different, you had to bring in a kid, Aaron Paul Hill, who's had some spot play for you guys, but now we're going to run this a little bit. Talk about what we're seeing here, kind of like you said, they're expecting the spread here.
Okay.
But
yeah, Royce, if you freeze it for a minute, we'll just go through this real quick. Number one, they've gone to a 3-man front, keeping 5 guys in the box instead of the usual 7 men in the box, or against our spread, a lot of people try to keep 6 people in the box. We wanted to test their adjustments to our trip set because that's primarily a passing set to us. We call it tray. We got 3-by-1 wide out right there. We've got 1 back in the backfield, along with Angel back there. And they came out with a defense with 3 down men trying to keep an additional 2 in the box, which gave us 5 in the box. And then this was the most unusual thing, but I think they got that from Permian, was they gave us 2 hard corners, the 2 safeties as usual, and then they give us the 3rd deep man. So, in fact, as we came out, wanted to check their adjustment to our set, because it's a passing set. We also wanted to run the football at the 5 technique, because most defenses give us a 4 and a 5, or 2 5s or 2 4s. And with this new defense, they were actually removed. This is an outside linebacker. The outside linebacker that usually goes on this side actually was replaced by another safety. So it actually lent itself to our first play, which was a run and play here. And it's 30 trap. It's really, from my background, is wing T. So it's really just 30 trap.
Yeah.
And if you've noticed anything that Tech's doing nowadays, when they get 5, they get 3, 4, 5, even 6 men in the box sometimes, and they go to the run, they've gone to a version of the trap, which is a fold inside. So it's pretty similar to what we're doing. So if you watch right here in a minute, this is dummy action going on out here. We know it's a run with Slaughter making some dummy calls. Angel early was right here checking the play to make sure they know which direction. We have the ability to run it to the left side or to the right side, depending upon what they give us here. And he's putting us in a call that's going to allow us to trap this man right here. Okay, we put the back in the backfield for the first time this year in what we call pistol.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we can run it here or we can run it there. But with the trap plane, you can see he breaks it left, even though we're trapping right here. It gives you a 2-way go. We call it, the way he took it was out the back door because they give it to us. If you look at this from the end zone view, you're going to get the backside guard pull. We're going to double team the nose. This man's job is to cut him off and then possibly wall off the backside guy. But as he hits the hole right here, he sees the linebacker overplay it, so he just hits it. And that's what we call just letting the back be a back. The play is designed to go a certain place, but we also don't want to take the creativity away from a good back who can run to daylight, as they say. And Paul Hill did a lot of that the other night for us real well.
I know there's only 2 games left in the season, but maybe now you feel like now that they've kind of done this, they can kind of they see what happens when you run the ball. This may be something that works the rest of the year for you guys.
We feel like it's really developed a little bit more confidence in our running game, so it's going to do really what we wanted to come into the season doing, was have a balance between pass and run with maybe a little bit more lean towards the pass. But this ought to open it up, with a little bit of our play action game. We've lost some of our boot and waggle threat just because of the fact that we haven't been able to run the ball successfully.
Yeah.
But it's going to open it up for us.
Well, it's going to open it up, and not a better time coming into Spurs this week. Look for Lubbock High to be able to run the ball and have a little bit of balance with their passing game. When we come back, we'll go through this week's games, and I'll have my picks right here on the field.